Alright, this thing is not working too good. This lady here says that she'll be my advocate and to call her. When I talk to people, let them know who to call. Well, that's her. This is her business card. This is on my hospital paperwork from yesterday. Reason for a visit: back pain, neck pain. Not really. I actually have my hospital paperwork from that. I also made sure that I did my best to record every situation. The problem is everything is full. It's now 4:09. I've been given the runaround for 4 days straight. Again, as always, on the right side. Let's see, this one's from Clear, I think.
I'm in one of the canyons, so I just have to get all the way back up to Estes where I work. Anyway, yeah, I absolutely understand those situations, and I'd love to testify about it because I had so many situations where basically, it's like the Stanford prison experiment on a massive scale out there. It's fucking disgusting. People drive people's madness over, power and control. They really get a kick out of controlling the homeless population out there, but then they don't actually want to do anything about it, and so they just push people until they break. And then when they break, they're like, oh, see, this is why you can't function in society. It's like, oh, okay, so you're going to torture me for 4 months, use all my resources, send me in endless loops to go check out other resources, other places until I have less than I started with. Take away every basic necessity of living and comfort, Maslow's hierarchy of basic needs, man. No shelter, no food. People are going to lose their shit. And you start treating people like they have less than animal rights, you're going to end up with a lot of people that are basically gone feral, and now you're cornering them and threatening them. Of course they're going to fight back. That's not a mental health problem. I'm having heat stroke, so I'm really not even sure if the words that I thought I was saying were the words coming out of my mouth. And I can't tell because no one cared to pay attention enough. So I could have, I thought I was saying stuff like, I need an ice pack before I have a seizure, I need water, I'm having heat stroke, and I need help. And I would say that over and over and over, and they'd be like, man, you need to calm down or I'm calling the cops. And then they would stare at me with a weirdly smug smile, what are you even saying? And it's really disturbing because some of these emergency workers and mandatory reporters are supposed to be trained to see something like that. This basic shit, how to recognize stroke, or, somebody having a health crisis, not a mental crisis, or, somebody starts speaking gibberish and half their face isn't moving. Maybe you should get them to the fucking ER instead of laughing at them and being like, well, if you don't want my help, I'm out of here, which is what happened to me in Vancouver, Washington, in a fucking parking ride. I absolutely know that I have brain damage from multiple rounds of heat stroke because people were denying even so much as water to people that looked homeless.
All right, now this one's going to get pretty juicy. It's about her kids, so I'm going to stop it there. I forgot that she uses the same coarse language I do. I am in a library. There are children, obviously. I'm not being the pretendy angry guy at the moment. The thing is that this is what is important as far as saving lives. Another day on the run around. Anyway, I'm going to end the stream and give some people some privacy. I am thankful for everything that people have done for me here, obviously. There's also the fact that it's, like she was saying, the reason that I recorded so much stuff is because I had to. Nobody else was going to do it for me. Nobody else was going to make those calls with me, no matter how much they promised. They just never came through. see. There are conversations with Lindsay. I think I can possibly pull one up. The problem is we're in a library and the subject matter is not appropriate for public. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to show you guys and read off from this. This is a list. Officer Amanda Jonas and her partners told Longmont Hospital that I was schizophrenic and told them to inject me. And I'm going to tell you what they injected me with. Now, mind you, it takes 6 months to diagnose schizophrenia. You literally can't do it in a day, and a police officer for certainly can't. Let's see. I only have about 45 minutes here. I literally spent 4 hours trying to get this thing up and running today. My Tourette's is acting up. I was at the hospital yesterday. That was absolutely no fun. The doctor's name was Lynn Bergman, and she was useless. I get that poor people don't make you a lot of money. I get it. But you still need to do your job. Myself and 3 other people there yesterday were treated abhorrently by that lady. No, that's not okay. It's not just horrible bedside manner. It shuts people down who are in crisis so they can't function. I fight hard to power through that. All right, we'll read the first one. Haloperidol lactate, indicated for the treatment of the manifestations of several psychotic disorders, including schizophrenia, acute psychosis, Tourette syndrome, and other severe. So first of all, Tourette syndrome is not a psychotic disorder. But we'll get that to in a moment. Intramuscular injection solution are indicated for the symptomatic treatment of schizophrenia and to control tics and vocal utterances of Tourette's disorder. I've been diagnosed with Tourette syndrome, by the way. This is what they put in me in August in Longmont Hospital for trying to tell on police officers. Next, we're going to read. Well, let's read elizapine. It can treat mental disorders, including schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. You know what happens if you give people the wrong medications? We're going to get to that in just a second. Lorazepam. It can treat seizure disorders such as epilepsy. It can also be used before surgery and medical procedures to relieve anxiety. Controlled substance, and it is too. It says can cause paranoid or suicidal ideation and impair memory, judgment, and coordination. Combining with other substances, particularly alcohol, can slow breathing and possibly lead to death. Now, here's the thing. This is what killed Tibor Hatay at Clearview Behavioral Health. By the way, I have the paperwork from there too. Yeah, they literally killed the man. And I spoke up about it, and crickets. Thank goodness I was able to get that information to somebody who got it to the news. And the news posted it up. You can find Clearview Behavioral Health, Johnstown, Colorado. Just type it into the search bar, you'll find it. Let's see. Olanzapine may cause side effects. Tell your doctor if any of these symptoms are severe or do not go away. Dizziness, feeling unsteady, or having trouble keeping your balance. Check. Restlessness. Check. Unusual behavior. Check. Depression. Check. Difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. Check. Weakness. Everyday sins. Difficulty walking. I already had that, but it was intensified. Constipation. Let's read another one. Haloperidol lactate side effects are dizziness, check. Lightheadedness, check. Drowsiness, check. Difficulty urinating, check. Sleep disturbances, check. Headache, check. Anxiety, check. May occur. If any of these effects last or get worse, tell your doctor or pharmacist promptly. Dizziness and lightheadedness can increase the risk of falling. That's right, medications. Anyway, because I'm in public, there's a lot of stuff that obviously I can't say, I can't do, and I can't show. The same things that keep me from showing it to you prevent me from showing it to those people. I did try to set up to meet them in person and get them to look at the evidence. They refused to do that because if they do look at the evidence and it matches up with what I'm telling them, then they have to turn in their coworkers and their friends. It happens, but it's the law. Obviously, they're not going to follow the law. Lindsay Goodman, I even offered to go see her this morning. Anyway, I got a few recordings with her. She does the standard procedure below us. Now, they're creating a scenario whereby easy to victimize peoples, the easiest to victimize in the country, matter of fact, statistically, have to go to the people who are most likely to victimize them other than their own families. That's right, law enforcement. Anyway, it is never okay to make an at-risk adult go to law enforcement alone, ever, under any circumstances. Alright, lorazepam, sedative. It can treat seizure disorders such as epilepsy. It can also be used before surgery and medical procedures to relieve anxiety. Controlled substance. Can cause paranoid or suicidal ideation. And impair memory, judgment, and coordination. Combining with other substances, particularly alcohol, can slow breathing and possibly lead to death. Olanzapine, it's also known as Zyprexa, Relprev, Zyprexa-Zitis, and Zyprexa. We've also got the stuff on haloperidol, which is also pretty important. I suppose I should also go to the videos. And then I gotta shut everything down. It's been another wasted day. I was at the hospital yesterday. It was like 7 hours of waiting. I couldn't stay still, but I was in a lot of pain, so I wanted to stay still. It was very unpleasant. My Tourette's was acting up real bad because of the abuse yesterday by officers. Yesterday morning. I did type about that on my Facebook. I'm trying to get everything shut down now, though, because I got 36 minutes, and it'll take me every bit of that to shut down and head out. Anyway, you guys, this lady, Lindsay Goodman, said that she'll advocate. Now, what an advocate's supposed to do and what she said are not quite the same. But she said to give her number or name to, she's going to advocate for me, apparently. So please give her a call. Let her know what's up. Record the call. And, of course, you can send the email to, or send it an email to doggedroman@gmail.com. You can also send it to, well, that'll work. Dogged Roman, DOGGEDROMAN @gmail.com. Now, if you notice, by the time I get my computer up and running and working decently, it's already time to close. You know how we end these videos. Now, I do want to mention that CARE Oregon, Oregon Law Center, and ARC, I've called them all before, and I called them all again because Lindsay Goodman told me to. Again, she refused to look at evidence, refused to meet me in person, and refused to call the police with me or to be there and present when I have to speak with them, which obviously puts me at severe risk, especially with the officers being abusive towards me here. The cursing is fine, the yelling is not. If you can't handle the fire, you should get out of the kitchen. There's missing people that need to be considered. There's dead people that need to be considered. There's also a lot of things that I can't mention just because of where I am. I'm doing my best to keep y'all safe from the distance, social distancing and all that. But the reality is I'm being taken advantage of wholesale. And I am lucky that the folks at the library are caring and forgiving. This isn't something that is appropriate to do in a public setting. It has never been appropriate to do this in a public setting. Trying to find a private setting that is peace and quiet. I had that before Natalie was killed. Sort of. The garage that I was staying in at Ken and Leah's, that would have worked. But I didn't have any technical skills. That's why I was trying to offer people money to help me with those technical skills. I wasn't able to do it. And people had been harming me for over a year by that point. Anyway, the lady's name is Lindsay Goodman. She's a licensed clinical social worker. She does need to look at the evidence. All of these people do. It's illegal for them to blow me off. It's also illegal for them to send me to the hospital again. I went there. What should have happened there didn't happen there. Life happens. On the bright side, I have a bunch of recordings. Let's see. Time crunch.